Hi, how you doing? I am Catie Brannon. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. This is Tea Time True Crime with Catie, where we talk about all things true crime. I like to focus on obscure cases, but this time I'm actually kind of going more into like a well-known case because it is quite controversial. When I bring this case up, people are on one side and then some people are on the other side. So I'm going to be talking about, well, a true crime that's wild. Like, this is the kind of perpetrator that is very rare, especially in the nationality sense, also the sex, origin of sex, that's rare, and also how it was done was rare as well. And if you're not understanding what I'm talking about, I'm going to be talking about Jennifer Pan. Yeah. So if you guys want to stay with me, enjoy a shout out, and the main page, we'll talk about Jennifer Pan and her wild, horrible circumstances. Close your eyes and pretend. Thank you for watching my title page. I hope you enjoy it. They are my fur babies. Max, Tux, and Bowie. Now, I get questions all the time or get made fun of, which is fine. That's cool. I don't wish anything ill will towards anyone. I send nothing but positive energy, even to the haters. So, sending you positive vibes. I get questions all the time like, Catie, where do you get your glasses? I will link the descriptions at the bottom below, but I do quite a few sites. I go to like Furmo. I love the Furmo. When you first get started, it's usually buy one, get one free. I use Zenni, Zenni. They were the first ones I went with because they're a little bit more on the pricey side, but nowhere near as buying glasses at a doctor's office. Nowhere near. But you can personalize your glasses. Like my partner has a pair of glasses that's a Master Skullman because that is his gamer name. I don't have one from Moped Master because he has one of those as well. So another one I have for him is like where he works. So you might think nerd, but to each his own. They do sunglasses. They can do any kind of color tint. I like the big frames. If you haven't noticed, I have a heart-shaped face or round. I don't know. Someone said I had a heart-shaped face, probably because of the widow's peak. And I like the big lenses with the blue light. You see how the blue light is on the lens? Because my career is I'm on the computer all the time. So I have to totally guard my eyes. Yeah. Furmo.com, Zenni.com. Vogue Me is where I get the fun wild glasses. I like them as well. And another one I really like, and I started buying more of those because they come in quickly and they have great customer service, is Wear Light. Yes. So I will leave the descriptions below. I am not sponsored by them yet. I just truly love their products and I love glasses. I am nearsighted. I cannot see 3 feet away from me. But also sometimes the blue light really gets to my eyes. So that's why I wear glasses. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are ready for this story. Especially, this is so well known, but the stuff that I actually researched and found out just was like, so there's going to be a trigger warning because it's very sad. But we do have a survivor, so that's good. Before I get into this true crime horrible case, I want to say that I mean no offense to anyone, especially in the Asian culture. I know I get a lot of flack about that, and I probably will because I'm not Asian, even though I did do an ancestry and it said 4% Japanese, which makes sense because I love Japanese culture and sushi and Japanese food, but it's not about me. The thing is that I'm going to be talking about tiger parents. Now, tiger parents can be any kind of parent. It's basically a very, very strict parent. I'm not talking about strict like tying you up against the wall and beating you senseless. I'm talking about let's see, creating your every move, where you have to go to school, where you have to go to college, who you cannot date. These parents were extremely strict on their daughter, and people believe that because of the strictness of tiger parents is that the reason why this crime happened. I'm going to talk about both ways what I feel, and I don't want to blame it all on the parents, and I don't want to blame it all on Jennifer. It's just a really, really horrible situation. But yes, Jennifer Pan, Gemini actually, she was born June 17th, 1986. Yeah. Now, Jennifer Pan was not only adorable and fun, and, her pictures look like she has a great time. She's very bubbly, all right? She is one of those sisters. She had a brother, Felix. Felix was born, I believe, in like 1990 or 1989. Yeah, he's a little younger than her. So we are going to start off with Han and Bick. Again, I don't mean any disrespect. But people, I hear people say beach or beak or bick. I'm thinking it's bick, honestly. Anyway, we're going to talk about a Vietnamese family that actually were immigrants, and they traveled to Canada, Toronto actually, to live a better life. Now, these parents, Han and Beek, were together a very long time, and they were very, very much in love. They were the kind of parents that were thrifty. They saved their money. They both worked in auto parts, doing auto parts. They saved up. And in 2005, they bought their dream home. It was a beautiful home in Markham, Markham, Canada. Now, this is the kind of crime that would never, ever happen in Markham. And I'm telling you, it was so bad that it was just like a bomb went off in the neighborhood. Because it, kind of did, but not really. When Jennifer was only 4 years old, she loved figure skating. She was actually very great at it. Her goal was to go to the Olympics, the 2010 Olympics. But her dreams were dashed because she ripped her ACL. Oh, God, painful. So she could no longer be a figure skater. Now, Jennifer also was very multi-talented. Not only she wanted to do a figure skating, she also loved piano. Piano made her extremely happy, and she even became an piano instructor in her later years. She was an average student, all right? Now, when she was younger, she was scared to death to not reach her parents' expectations. So she started fabricating her report cards. Now, this is happening at a very young age, and I don't know if you know, but once you start lying, you have to keep on lying to cover up the lies, and it's just, sooner or later, it's all gonna come out. She was pretty successful, like I said, until high school. It got much harder for her. She was bullied. She started to be a little bit withdrawn into herself, and she went on this trip to Europe. Yeah, there was a school trip to Europe that was about 2 weeks in like 2005, 2006, something like that. And that is where she really started to fall for Danny Wong. Yes, Daniel Wong. Daniel Wong was a Chinese Filipino man. Now, I don't like, if you know me, I don't like to talk about people's race or what they look like, because it simply doesn't matter. But I have to for this, because of what the father, what Jennifer accused her father and parents of how they mistreated Daniel. Now, Daniel Wong, he met her in actual band. she played an instrument and he played an instrument as well. I believe he played the tuba, something like that, tuba or trumpet. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he was in band and she played the flute. And they just kind of knew each other, but she started falling for him in Europe. We're going to go back to Europe because when they were having some concert or something like that, there was smoke. And Jennifer at the time had really bad asthma and she was going into a panic attack. Well, Daniel was there and helped her through it and helped her breathe. And she swore that Daniel saved her life. Now, ever since that happened, she became goo goo gaga, fall in love, reach for the stars, World Series kind of stuff. Okay? Yeah. But again, teenage love, puppy love. Now, she wanted to keep seeing Daniel, and she started to really, really fall for him. But the parents did not approve. And she says because of racism. But I also read that he was a small-time drug dealer and worked in a restaurant and was not good enough for Han's daughter. Yeah. But the other thing that Jennifer said, which with her lying in the beginning, you kind of take liars, as a grain of salt. But I will say that apparently the Vietnamese people do not like Filipino. And with Daniel being half Chinese and half Filipino, there was definitely a little rift, which I was confused because I was like, I thought you guys were the same, you know what I'm saying? Or that sounds bad. I meant to say like they're both Asian. So I thought like they want to be with each other, but no, it was more complicated than that because of the Filipino aspect, which kind of blew my mind when I was researching. I was like, what? Really? This sneaking around, you guys, I believe began to take a toll on Jennifer. Now, she already is, forging her grades, and she's telling her parents that I'm going to go to college. And she was going to go to a 2-year university and then go to another. Her parents really wanted her to be a doctor. They wanted her to be very successful, but that's not what she wanted to do. She actually wanted to get a degree in kinesiology, which kinesiology I feel like is kind of on the same spectrum of medical because, it's like, I believe it's the study of movement and bones and ligaments. So very fascinating of how like the body moves. I think that'd be kind of cool. But, her parents did not agree with that. So, and they knew she couldn't become a doctor because Jennifer was the kind of person that got very, very squeamish at the sight of blood. So they're like, yeah, she's not going to be a doctor, but she can have a successful career in being a pharmacist. So they wanted her to go to pharmacology. Now, she at this time was going to school, but she wasn't passing. Yeah, Jennifer kept up this charade for a few more years until the cat was out of the bag. Now, Jennifer didn't even graduate high school. She could not pass high school. And I'm thinking, well, okay, how did they not know that there was no diploma and no walk on stage? I'm not sure how it is in Canada, but it might be different. I know in the United States that when someone graduates, you wear a cap and gown and you get a diploma and walk across the stage. So I'm not sure if it's different in Canada or not. But the fact is, if it's not, then wouldn't the parents be like, well, didn't you walk your daughter? Why isn't our daughter walking? But like I said, once you lie, you do more lies. Okay. So, Hans and Bick are very, they're very controlling, and they believe she should not have a boyfriend in her life because it will, mess up her studies. She actually had a job at this time. She worked in a restaurant, and she also did piano lessons, so that's how she could support herself. Now, when the parents asked about money, like, okay, how are we paying for this college? She simply was like, oh, I got scholarships, I got grants. But the fact is, she's not going to college. She didn't get any of those things. All those things were completely fabricated. I know. She told her parents that she should stay closer to the university for less stress on her. And the parents, agreed, actually. She said her friend Topaz and her go to the same college, and that's why they want to move in together, to make studying and stuff like that easy. Now the parents are like, okay. What Jennifer was really doing was spending time with Daniel Wong. Yeah. One day, though, the parents start to feel maybe they're getting a little played a lot, a little bit. They get something's a little fishy. So what the mother does is she actually follows her daughter into the hospital, and she realizes that everything her daughter has said is a lie. Like, she is not going to college, and she did not pass her school, and it just was really, really awful. Yeah. I would hate to be the fly on the wall on that one. And when she tried to, introduce Daniel Wong to her parents, they just wouldn't give him the time of day. They basically gave her an ultimatum. It's either your family or it's Daniel. And she chose family because that is her support. That's where she lives. And that is where the money's at. Jennifer is known to say that her parents did not have a lot of money, but, they did drive very nice cars. One person drove a Lexus, the other one drove a Mercedes. So yeah, those are not cheap cars. You know what I'm saying? Those are pretty expensive. And they had cash lying around, expensive watches, nice electronics. So no, I think they were in the upper class. I think they did pretty well for themselves personally. And they also were known to be very generous to the neighborhood. Like if they would invite you over for dinner, their friends, they would come over and they would just make so much food, and it was a good time. But Jennifer really did not like her stifling existence. She actually was upset because, Daniel actually ends things with her. Yes, devastates her. Absolutely devastates her. So she does what she can to get him back. And you know what she does? She lies. Yeah, she lies. She finds out that Daniel has moved on and started dating a girl named Christine. And she's still talking with Daniel, but as friends, apparently. Well, Christine doesn't like that very much and tells her to back off on Facebook. Well, Jennifer comes up with a plan. And she is like, well, basically, I need to talk to you. And then he goes, yes, what's going on, Jennifer? And she basically said that she was raped, gang raped, by 3 guys. And she made it up. Isn't that awful? Like, yeah, I watched the interrogation video. She's very embarrassed about it. And I'm like, wow, like that is so despicable. And she even mailed a bullet or something like that, or she received a bullet and she said it was from Christine and she was scared. So, Daniel, they have history. They're together off and on for 4 years, 4 or 5 years at this time. So, he goes back to Jennifer and he's like, listen, I don't really want drama, but, there's feelings there. But yet, weirdly, they devise a plan to get rid of her parents. Yeah. He doesn't want drama, but yet he devised a plan to get rid of her family. Like, what? Yeah, guys, it is so cold and so awful. So the restriction got more restricted because they found out she was lying about everything. So she only can go to work and I believe her piano lessons. And she was a piano instructor, so she could only do those lessons and school, very strict. Even the parents measured the mileage to the T to make sure she didn't go anywhere else. But still, she would sneak out and be with Daniel. Yeah, her friends would pick her up and they'd sneak out and be together. And again, parents were like, it's either us or it's either Daniel, but then she chooses her parents. So she is really tired of her family. The first thing she does is she actually not only, Daniel is a secret and their whole thing is a secret, she wants to start plotting to get rid of her parents. Yeah, I know. It is, it's scary how cold and calculating she was. So in 2010, in the beginning, Jennifer was introduced to Ricardo Duncan, where she actually propositioned him to kill her parents for $1,500. Ricardo refused. He actually said he only took $200 out of that money because she owed him. Now, let me tell you about, Daniel Wong and Jennifer's relationship. So, Daniel Wong he moved pretty fast with Christine, even though they had, years of history with Jennifer. And they seemed pretty toxic, honestly. But, Jennifer Pan, she really loved him. Someone said that for a whole summer that she worked, she made a couple grand or something like that. And she bought Daniel a paint gun. Yeah. Yep. A paint gun. I didn't even know they were that expensive. I was thinking it was a BB gun. No, it was a paintball gun. So you see where Jennifer's mind is at, Honestly, I don't think she really knows the concept of money, even though she should, because she's working and she wants more. Yeah, comes the motive. Tea time. Green tea with peach. Refreshing. Very, very hot. We're going to lower that warmer just a little bit. Okay, so you can tell by, Daniel Wong and, Jennifer, she is, it's a little toxic, I feel like that's on the toxic side. But he would complain about getting these weird calls, these harassing phone calls. And, she was just wondering what it was about. But honestly, it was Jennifer. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Now, before he figured that out, though, before he figured out all these lies that Jennifer was telling him, they actually devised a plan to get some hitmen. Yes, to find some hitmen to actually kill her parents. Now, the first guy that they hired was Lenford Roy Crawford. He was propositioned by Daniel Wong, and Lenford was propositioned Eric Sean Carty. Then also he contacted David Nagano. Yeah. The plan was set in place. Now, this is so cold. I can't even imagine what her parents were feeling. I'm serious. I just can't imagine the horror, the terror, and for the dad, the betrayal. November 8th, 2010. It is a relatively clear night. Jennifer is upstairs watching television and starts texting Daniel, and they talked on the phone for a few minutes. Her mother just came home, Bick. She just came home from line dancing. She loved line dancing with her friends, so she got home around 10 o'clock, and she started soaking her feet because her feet were sore and relaxing watching TV. Her father, Han, he actually was reading a newspaper and went to bed early. Now, Jennifer goes downstairs and looks at her mom and just saying, good night, Mom. And she's just like, okay, good night. And she goes to the front door and unlocks it. And then she goes into the study where she flickers the light or turns it on. I don't know if it's there, something like that. But if it's a flicker, that would make sense, but I feel like that's way too obvious. If she turned on a light, yeah. If she turned on the light, then I think that, it would be really clear. I don't know, what do you guys think? Did she flick it? I feel like when you flicker a light, guys, it looks suspicious as hell. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say she flicked the light, And then that was the basic signal for them to go on. So you have these three guys, all right, and they actually break into the house. And it is dramatic, you guys. It is very dramatic. Like, these guys come in dressed in black, look like they're going to rob the place. And the mom is saying, "We don't have any money. We don't have any money." And the guys are yelling at her. And she is just so upset. And the dad wakes up a little early. One of the guys grabs the dad. And then while that's happening, one of them grabs Jennifer and ties her to the banister. And she is just, when you guys listen to that 911 call, you can hear the absolute energy and the chaos that is happening, okay? She calls 911 and she is saying, "Help, help, somebody broke in. I heard shots, I heard pops." And you can hear her dad like screaming in the bathroom, in the background. And she's just screaming back, "I'm all right, Dad, I'm all right." And then the shooting. So, Han and Bick are trying to barter for their lives. I'm sure they're take whatever you want. But then they realize that, when you come in with guns and no weapons of your own, this is not for a robbery, And I'm not sure what the people say that it was the father that got shot first. He was shot in the face. And then the mother is so upset that she shot 3 times in the head. Yeah, it's absolutely awful. And her last words were, oh my gosh, guys, haunting. Okay, quote, "Please, don't hurt my daughter," end quote. Yeah, I know. Now, she doesn't realize, but when Jennifer comes downstairs, she is untied. One of the men untie her, and she walks around the house, and Han is still alive. Yeah. Even today, guys, he has, I think he had reconstruction face surgery, and he has bullet fragments still in his face. It's awful. He's not living a good life at all. He has extreme anxiety, extreme PTSD. It's really, really sad. But he did survive. Yeah, he did survive. And when he ran outside screaming for help, he did receive help. He did receive emergency services, but they induced him in a coma. And then he woke up, and then that's how the police pieced everything together. They both were supposed to die, but I feel that just because he survived, if they both would have died, I really think the cops would have figured it out. Honestly, because it's just not making sense. Because when the cops arrive at the residence, yes, everything is a mess, everything is tousled over, but they realize a few things. Number one, this is morbid, I apologize, but why did they leave Jennifer alive? Right? You brutally kill the parents. Why leave a witness? So why leave Jennifer alive? Another thing is, how did you call 911 with your hands tied behind your back? Yep. And then another thing was when she came out with all the lies, that she just kept lying and lying and lying, that sooner or later it was all going to come out. Thank goodness at the time, guys, Felix was actually not in the house. The brother, he was out of town at the time, I believe at a friend's house. Yeah. How awful is that? You come home and you find out that not only your parents are gone, there's some crazy robbers out there, but they figured out it was Jennifer within a week. She had 3 interrogations, all taped. The first one is very sad. She's crying and everyone's feeling sorry for her. But it's the third one when they start asking her really in-depth questions like, how did you get to the phone? you know. And there was a good, she did show them that it was in her back pocket. So if she's tied behind her back, she could definitely reach for the phone and dial 911 that way. But how did she get the phone to her ear for them to talk to her back and forth? She couldn't answer that, you guys. She could not. And then when she was hearing from around town how basically how strict the parents were and how she wanted to leave, yeah. But before she confessed, she actually said that she hired these men for them to kill her. Like, she wanted to die. She did not want to live anymore. So she hired those men and they were supposed to kill her. But instead, there was some misunderstanding and they killed her parents instead. Well, nobody was buying that because all this was in text message. So they took all these text messages, brought them evidence into court, and Jennifer was, on the stand for a week. And people were like, first of all, they were so shocked about how cold it was. And also that Han was still alive. And Han actually signed a no contact order. Yeah, to never, I believe it was Hans and Felix. They signed a no contact order to never talk to his sister or his daughter again. Yeah. The three guys, one of the guys is passed away since 2000. He passed away in 2018, which is a whole different story. Not really talking about it. And then the other people, they got 25 years with the possibility of parole. But the way this murder was so callous and so cold, I doubt they're getting out. Now, this time, Jennifer was 24 years old. She was not 16. She was not 18. She was 24. And yes, her parents did have an iron fist on her life. But my thing is, if things were so absolutely terrible and the parents were just garbage, making you do things you do not want to do, like have a major that you do not like, make sure you don't see your friends, she could have moved out. She could have lived her own life. That's her mom and dad's house for the rules. That's their house. So I'm just guessing if you want to disrespect them, then leave. I know everyone's like, it's not as easy as it seems. I mean, I get that, but like to literally hire these people to kill your parents while you're there. Because she was there. Han remembered that his daughter was walking around with one of them like they were friends and she was talking to him. I cannot imagine the betrayal, you guys. I just cannot. Not at all. The whole case is controversial because we're talking about tiger parents. We're talking about, hitmen on the family, which I think it was just the parents, not her brother, because her brother wasn't there. But the police used the Reed technique. The Reed technique is basically lying, which is the irony of this case, because Jennifer lied for a very, very long time to cover her tracks, to make her look better than she was. And it ended up lying was what made her life over because of somebody else. The Reed technique is basically, like I said, the police officers, the type of interrogation where they're actually lying, like, hey, we have this person saying this, we have this going on, when none of that is going on, and it's for the perpetrator to confess. Now, I think she did confess for guilty conscience, and I think when she knew that she was tied up, how did she get the phone and call 911? And also, what nailed her? Yeah, the nail in the coffin was her dad, Han. Dad told the police that she knew the perpetrators about how she was acting. Yeah. What do you guys think about this story below? It is a well-known story. It happened in 2010, Canada. But it's very different because a lot of killing of parents happen because of males. And it's very rare that there's a female, let alone hire hitmen to kill the parents. Yeah. She could have just left. If she was that scared, she could have called 911 and been like, hey, I'm trying to move out of my parents' house, but I'm extremely scared. Can you come here with me while I pack my things? And they do that. They actually did that with my ex. I was so scared to leave. And finally, I'm like, I have to get out of here, especially for my sanity and my health. And they did. I called the police. They stood there. They made sure I packed my stuff and left, and he did not touch me. It was awesome. Jennifer, I do give sympathy because it seemed like she lived a very, very, like, high expectation life. But then I do feel sorry for the parents because the parents really wanted more for their daughter. They wanted success. But I really think that the insurance money was $500,000. And I really think that's what Jennifer was after. So yeah, I'm on Jennifer's side. I'm on the parents' side. They both did wrong, but again, the parents shouldn't have died. Yeah, she wasn't locked up. She wasn't beaten. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but the fact is that she could leave with a car. She could have went to any police place and been like, hey, I'm trying to move out from my parents. And she's 24 years old. She's a grown adult. She could have made the decision for herself. That's what my parents always said. If you ever want to come back home, you got to follow our rules. And I'm like, I'm not coming back home. I have my own home. Yeah. Thank you for watching, you guys. I really appreciate you sending positive energy to the families involved. And again, let me know what you think about this case. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye.